you're a high-achieving woman on a path of becoming your authentic self, and yet you found yourself lying awake at 3 a.m. Your heart's racing, you're playing out the worst-case scenarios about work, or maybe something happening in your personal life. You're carrying enormous responsibility. You probably know this kind of a night. Your body's exhausted, but your mind just will not let you sleep. It's reviewing what you said, what you should have said, what you might have missed, what could have happened tomorrow if something goes terribly wrong. And now let's acknowledge something right away. Some of the risks that you're worrying about, they're real. They're not just in your head. A mistake can have a professional consequence. Money can be lost. Someone can become angry. Your reputation might be challenged. I'm not going to tell you that that's all in your head. But what if the thing that your hyper-vigilant mind believes it's protecting you from isn't actually making the personal or professional mistake? What if it's protecting you from what your beliefs say that would mean about you? And then how that would make you feel? So stay with me, because that's the hidden piece that we're going to uncover today. And once I explain something that's really critical, I'll lead you through a simple practice that you can use when that 3 a.m. loop starts up again. And we're not going to just try to manage your anxiety. We're shifting you out of your survival mode into your authentic, powerful self. Because your mind isn't going crazy and you are not failing. So please hear that. Your brilliant, high-achieving mind has just simply learned to associate constant vigilance with staying safe. Today you're going to discover what it's really protecting, and a whole different place within you from which you can meet your uncertainty. Well, welcome back to the orchard. When you work in a high-stakes profession, whether you're an attorney or a physician, an executive, entrepreneur, business owner, or someone just carrying a tremendous amount of responsibility, there are real-world risks. But then there's also safeguards. You have experience, credentials, procedures, resources, maybe even you have insurance. And you've developed tremendous competence over many years. So why then does your mind sometimes react to the possibility of making a mistake as though your entire life will collapse in on you? Well, let's be curious here for a moment. Imagine that very thing that you're actually afraid of happening. You made the mistake or something went wrong. Well, what would be the most unbearable part? What would losing money really feel like? Would it be an angry client? Would it be having to correct a mistake? Or is there something that's underneath all of that feels even more threatening? Well, what if what feels really threatening is you being exposed? Having people question your competence, feeling humiliated, perhaps even imagine people thinking, she's not as good as we thought she was. And then somewhere deep inside, you have an older voice that whispers, what if I'm really not as good as I thought I was either? Oh, and then there it is. It's your nervous system isn't responding to what might happen externally. It's responding to what your mind believes that would mean about you internally. And beneath the fear of professional embarrassment or financial loss, we can sometimes find even a much older little root belief. If I make a mistake, then that proves that I am not good enough, ever. Oh, and when not good enough feels like a threat to your public identity, a professional problem can begin to feel like a real survival problem. So to make this easy to understand, I like to use the tree metaphor, in the orchard. So just picture this hyper-vigilant mind. It's the shallow root system of a tree, a magnificent tree. And these little roots are gripping the changing topsoil, desperately trying to control everything, right? Everything that's happening above the ground. They scan, they anticipate, they rehearse, they prepare, and they say, don't relax. We might miss something. Think it through one more time. And if we stay vigilant enough, maybe we can prevent anything from happening. Well, that's your 3 a.m. mind, right? Sound familiar? Checking those emails in your head, replaying those conversations, anticipating arguments, preparing defenses. Just trying to guarantee that no storm will ever touch your tree. I've even caught myself in this mental fight, even during the day, because the conditions above the ground are always changing. Those little survival roots can never completely relax. In fact, they believe that their vigilance is the reason that you survived. Perhaps even the reason that you've succeeded. And so here's where it gets really interesting. Your hypervigilant mind, it may have accumulated years of evidence that worrying works. Think about it. You worried. So what did you do? You prepared, you anticipated problems, you worked harder, you double-checked, you caught mistakes, right? You just tried to stay 3 steps ahead all the time. And then, you succeeded. So somewhere along the way, your nervous system formed an association, and it made this invisible assumption. Hypervigilance keeps me safe. Well, no wonder it doesn't want to stop. Your hypervigilance isn't trying to sabotage you. In fact, it thinks it's responsible for everything you've achieved, and genuinely believes if you stop worrying, you're going to stop being successful. Or if you let your guard down, something terrible is going to happen. Or if you stop scanning for danger, then you're really going to be exposed. And this is why simply telling yourself to stop worrying, it just doesn't work. You see, your protective system believes that you're asking it actually to abandon post. So I'm not going to ask you to stop worrying. I'm going to show you what your worried mind needs in order to begin loosening its grip on you so that you can come back into your own personal power. Because what you once thought that helped you succeed is now draining the very clarity, the energy, your intuition, and your authority that you need, not only to continue succeeding, but to live from your authentic nature, rather than from your survival fight or flight system. So what we need to do is to move beneath all that busy mind, and we need to go deeper into the tree, deep beneath those frightened little survival roots. Deep beneath all that lies your taproot, your divine source of life. It's your source of creative power. In the language of the orchard, the taproot represents your innate spiritual authority, the divine love and life that's within you, that it existed long before your resume, long before your achievements, and long before anybody's good opinion of you. So this root, it just doesn't require anything to exist. It doesn't become more powerful when you succeed, nor does it become less powerful when you make a mistake. Your taproot knows something that your survival roots just cannot see. That your competence is an expression of who you are. It's not the source of your emotional safety, your power, or your worth. See, when you're operating through those shallow survival roots, well, you're trying to control circumstances so you never have to experience embarrassment or shame, right? But when you reconnect with the taproot, like I'm going to show you in just a minute, but you begin operating from a completely different kind of authority and power. And it's not the kind of authority that says, oh, nothing bad's ever going to happen. That's just not anything any of us can ever guarantee. But it's the authority that says, whatever happens, I can handle it fully. A real world risk doesn't have to threaten who you are and what you're capable of. Your circumstances may be uncertain, but your power and your worth are not. So that's your authentic sovereignty, and that's your bridge from your survival to your creator power. So how to begin making this shift when you're lying in bed tonight and that hypervigilant loop starts to begin again? Well, let me show you how, and I'm going to show you. Let's do this right now. So I invite you to take a couple of deep, slow breaths and just bring to mind something that's been concerning you, not the biggest fear in your life, just something that you've noticed that your mind keeps repeatedly returning to, okay? And to begin with, I'm asking you not to fight your mind. You don't want to fight it by telling it to shut up or just stop. Just relax into the fact that your mind is worrying again. That might seem counterproductive, and that's okay too. And so just welcome it rather than resist it. And then just pause for a minute. Let that settle. And just allow your breathing to become just a little slower and a little gentler. And giving your body the signal that, in this very moment, right here, you are safe enough to relax your body. And just bring acceptance to your hypervigilant mind. You're okay. And if it feels comfortable, just place one hand over your heart and then the other over your abdomen. And then just notice what happens in your body. Where do you feel this tension when you think about this situation? Where do you hold your tension? Do you hold it in your jaw, or your throat tightens, your chest is constricted? Maybe your shoulders are tight. And you don't need to change any of it. Just notice. And now, instead of becoming angry with this anxious little hypervigilant part of yourself, become like the gardener. Just gently say inwardly, I see you. I see how hard you're working. I know you're trying to protect me. And then just pause again. And then slowing things down, just thank you for trying so hard to keep me safe. And then just notice what's happening in your body when you stop fighting the protector. And now ask it, what are you afraid would happen if you stopped anxiously looking for everything that could go wrong? And don't force an answer, just listen. Maybe you'll hear, well, I'm going to make a mistake. Something's going to go wrong. I'm going to embarrass myself. People are going to lose respect for me. Well, then perhaps underneath all that, maybe they're going to find out I'm really not good enough. And now if something like that appears, you found your little identity belief root. So don't argue with it or try to push it away. Instead, bring it compassion. Let your heart open to this part of yourself, just as it is. Now just be easy. Just do the best that you can, because that is good enough. And just pause again and just consider this truth. I don't have to be perfect to remain safe. I'm intrinsically powerful and worthy. Those words are your truth. Let that resonate in your body. Now take another slow, gentle breath. And as you exhale, just imagine your awareness moving out of that busy, hypervigilant mind and moving down through your body, down through the trunk of your tree, beneath those little survival roots, deeper and deeper, until your awareness reaches your taproot. And you know how you know you've reached your taproot? You're going to know by how you feel. You could have a real sense of calm come over you. Your heart racing is going to start to slow down. You might feel peaceful, a little more centered in your body. And so from this place, you just really don't need to prove anything. You don't need to perform. Your mind won't need to predict every possible storm to feel safe. Just rest there for just a moment. And perhaps you can say inwardly, I have a better way now. Fear doesn't have to run my vigilance. Love guides my clarity. I am capable. I am resourceful. I can meet what comes from the deepest authority within me. And then just breathe. You don't have to solve tomorrow tonight. You only need to come home to your powerful self right now. And here's something else. Seeing this situation as a threat to your survival, it's been showing you where you've been operating from. It's been operating out of your I'm not good enough belief, rather than from your authentic, powerful, wonderful self. Perfectionism is a very heavy armor to wear, isn't it? In hypervigilance, it can become a very exhausting way to try to feel safe. True power isn't guaranteeing that you'll never make a mistake. True power is knowing that your value is so deeply anchored inside of you that a mistake just cannot determine who you are or what you're capable of doing. So the goal isn't to become the woman who's never concerned or responsible. It's to become the woman who's no longer identified with her outer circumstances. And instead, a woman who is defined by the innate immutable truth. You are a powerful creator, not a powerless victim. So before you leave the orchard today, I want to give you one question to take with you. What would you change and how you feel if you trusted that your power and your worth was already given and you didn't ever have to prove it or fight for it ever again? Wow. Just notice what happens when you hear that. Well, if this sanctuary session has given your nervous system just a little moment of rest and all this resonates with you, I would just love to hear what you noticed in the comments below. I read every one. And if you're a high-achieving woman on a path of awakening who is ready to understand more about what lies beneath your patterns rather than just simply trying to control everything above the ground, then I invite you to subscribe and join me in the orchard. Your circumstances may be uncertain, but your power and your worth are not. When those little roots become frightened again, just remember, you don't have to fight them. Become the gardener. Listen with compassion. And then gently just lead yourself right back down to the taproot of your divine love that's within you. It's been there all along. So if you'd like to return to this guided practice again, well, I've timed it for you, and I placed it in the title description below and also in the comments section. Please, making a connection with your powerful self. Make that a habit, not just an event. Thank you. Your soul thanks you too. So until next time, bye for now.